Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at, ladies and gents. I am Kura Isagami, your resident Tinkerer and Medarotter, and this is the Medarot News Network, bringing you all the latest developments and happenings with our favorite pet fighting robot series. Now this week I'm trying something particularly new that was suggested to me with last week's video to kind of help keep content at the core of what was announced with each week, and keep the weekly breakdowns separate for those that just want to focus on the bot breakdowns. So this week's video might be just a little bit shorter, but I'm also going to be taking the bot breakdowns essentially out almost entirely, except for just making passive notes if there's a new bot incoming. But otherwise, with that being said, we do have a new bot incoming, two new bots incoming actually. One of them is a boss type, the final boss from Medarot 9, the mysterious alien type Metal Eater. And with that being said, that is the reason this week's episode has been titled Extraterrestrial Evil. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started with what they announced for this week. As announced, they did tease and reveal the debut of Metal Eater in the game Medarot S with a kit of Deathlock, Ghost Shot, Float Legs, and the ability of Auto Charge. Now, at first glance, Metal Eater has one thing and one thing alone. He has every intent to absolutely destroy you as quickly as possible and show no remorse doing that. That is shown very easily with a Deathlock for guaranteeing that they cannot defend or evade, and of course with Ghost Shot and Ghost with the passive defense ignore and the extra damage bonus relative to your Metaforce gauge. On top of that, with the leg ability of Auto Charge, also adds even further into his kit of being very Metaforce reliant. His stats across the table are also massively tanky and wickedly strong on top of that. Almost 6,000 HP there for his head, almost 3,200 per arm, almost 5,000 HP for his legs, and a mobility stat of 853 with an evade of nearly 1,200 as well. So even with having such a high power output, he has the speed to back it up and the HP to absolutely tank anything you could possibly throw at him. So word of advice, definitely do keep an eye on him when he's on the field and be very careful when he is your target. Moving forward, they also announced we have 4 reruns of pickup gachas coming this week alongside with Metal Eater, and that is Warbonnet, Meisai-Maran, Smilodon, and Machairodus. And all 4 of these, much like with Metal Eater after this video, and the Fierce Battles coming as well this week, be sure to stay tuned after this video goes live for smaller breakdown videos of each bot individually to give you my personal score on each bot, how I feel they best perform, as well as a more in-depth breakdown at what each one does, just in case the news may not interest you, but you need to know on a quick glance which bot does what. But the reason for the particular reruns this week is because they announced a variant of the Marathon Row Battle event that we have, and that is Rival Row Battles. I think you guys are probably picking up on where this might be. Smilodon has been a recurring rival to the titular character Metabee in the anime and in the games, so it makes perfect sense that both he and Warbonnet as the counterpart would be given as reruns. And then of course Meisai-Maran and Machairodus as well when they debuted in DS with their Medarotter Kohaku. In the terms of the event, the same rules apply as the standard Marathon Row Battles. Parts used between rounds are added to a banned list upon victory until a checkpoint has been reached between the rounds. As you proceed through the rounds, the ban list does get longer, which means you need to start using other parts or variants of other parts to try to help you see that victory. On top of that, you can also battle for rewards such as chips, rubies, and a limited nameplate to celebrate the tail end of the 1.5 anniversary event. So definitely do keep a lookout for that coming this week. And definitely try for that nameplate in general, at the very least, just for that extra challenge. On top of that, with the 1.5-year anniversary coming to a close this week, with a couple tail end things with the marathon, with the rival row battles, definitely make sure that you've been farming that through this week, because they have provided a wonderful opportunity for farming for very hard to find resources like Cyplasium or ROMs especially. I've been farming those all through this week. I have almost 20,000, I think, roughly per part now, just in case I need them. And the Cyplasium has been absolutely beautiful for helping me raise parts that I've been needing to raise for a while. So if you haven't had the chance to yet, or if you have been, definitely take the tail end of this week to keep farming that event for extra tickets that you can use towards stockpiling materials to make last through the coming weeks as necessary. On top of that, we also got an update on an upcoming bot that was covered previously, and that is the beef type. I might botch the name. Hodo Yoishi Mofuri. motif of a Japanese Angus cattle or beef type with references to good cuts of meat. The kit supposedly is going to be a new skill of Meteor and double brake hammer with supposedly tank-based legs. Meteor, as mentioned, is a brand new skill coming to the game that will damage. It is a gunpowder attack, but will also set the user on fire after the attack has been completed. However, this will work to your advantage, as Meteor will deal 1.5 extra damage, conditional damage, if the opponent if the user is on fire when using the attack. So even while a debuff might not be the greatest thing to use in any particular sense, especially one that eats at your HP almost every other tick of the clock, Meteor definitely does make the best use of that as a gunpowder move to deal some extra damage and really lay it on and hit where it hurts. Looking forward to seeing this one come in the game officially, as more news on it with the official model and the art is released and teased closer to the release date. So stay tuned on that, and I will be covering this one officially in much more detail upon official release and tease of this model. On top of that, we also have our Fierce Battles for this week, another newcomer, the second one I mentioned earlier, Sprytooth, which is a returnee from Medarot R, along with Rhino Rush and Iru Mashira. Now, like with the pickup gachas, I will be covering each of these bots individually in their own shorter videos that kind of break down the overall kits of each bot, so stay tuned for those at the end of this episode for links to those or in a playlist. So if you're wondering which one does what, definitely stay tuned for those. Out of this week's kit overall, I'd say Iru Mashira or Sprytooth are probably going to be the MVPs of the week, depending on if you're looking for a melee fighter or an ailment shooter. So again, stay tuned for those, keep an eye out, and hopefully this new format of videos will definitely come in handy for those that want to break down and separate the news from the breakdowns. On top of that, we are still constantly looking for translators or assistants for the translation project we have for the Medarot 3 translation or for the Medarot Reloaded manga. So if you are versed in Japanese coding or cleaning and have some time on your hands that you'd be willing to donate, please do feel free to reach out to me or join our Discord with the link provided below, and I can get you in touch with the right people to get you up to date on what's been going on and what still needs to be worked on. On top of that, we also have plans after Medarot 3 has been finished to, of course, move on to other titles, such as Medarot 4. Navi, in particular, has been picking up some particular interest, so if you'd like to be a part of that project and help bring Medarot to the West through the fan translation community, you're more than welcome to reach out to me or join our communities, and we can definitely get you up to speed on what needs to be done. On top of that, I think that just about covers everything that was mentioned for this week. So if you'd like to know more, you can follow us below at the Medarot News Network or Metabots Forever pages on Facebook. You can also join us on Project Rising Beetle's official Discord at the link provided and in the description below. You can also follow me on Twitter at Isagami Kura, so if you have any questions or comments or suggestions for me, you're more than welcome to reach out. I am more than open to feedback for any suggestions or ideas. And on top of that, I would really love and appreciate some opinions and feedback on this new particular style for presentations. And if it does work, please do let me know, so it's something that I can keep working on in the future and put more prep time and effort towards. I feel it might be a good introduction and a good improvement to the quality of the videos to kind of help keep the news from the breakdown separate, so I maybe don't end up going on tangents as needed and delay the length of the video. But any suggestions or feedback, I'm more than open to. Please do reach out to me if you have any. I am always open to a chat. Also, give these other fine people a follow as well. On Twitter, you have Eru04, also known as Calidori, who also runs the Metabots OOC page. That page in particular has gained over 300 followers in a relatively short period of time. So content on there is definitely amping up. Lots of followers on there. Lots of funny stuff for sure, especially if you are fans of the anime in general. So definitely give Calidori and her page a follow, both her pages a follow, and also make sure you follow the Metabots Daily page also on Twitter for daily facts and breakdowns of each bot as a daily thing. I followed that page relatively recently, and I have been thoroughly enjoying stuff from there too. But aside from that and everything that was mentioned today, thanks again for stopping by, folks. It's always happy to have you in for a visit. Until next time, this is your host, Kura Isagami of the Medarot News Network, signing out.